if there's a message that I would like to give these young girls, if they're either dreaming on being a rugby players or doctors or both, is just to just if that's what they really want, to just do it, to believe in themselves and just don't give up.
Hello and welcome to RugbyMed, the science of the game. I'm António Cruz Ferreira, and joining me today, as always, is my co-host Carlos Braga.
Hello, everyone. We're back with another exciting episode. And this time we have a very special guest, someone who truly embodies the spirit of rugby and the balance between sports and outside of the field.
So joining us today, we have Catarina Antunes, the current doctor of the Portuguese women's 15 national team, a former player, a dedicated mother, and someone who continues to inspire us through her journey in both sports and medicine.
We'll be diving into her rugby career, her experience returning to play after becoming a mother, balancing her medical career with her passion for rugby, and her unique role as the first ever doctor of the Portuguese women's 15. Catarina, welcome to the show.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for those kind words, Antonio and Carlos. I'm very pleased to be here, and thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to be here.
The pleasure is as usual, is always ours. So Katerina, if you allow me to start, let's please have a look first at your playing career. You have been involved in rugby for a long time. When did it all begin, and what made you fall in love with the game?
Well, I started playing when I was 15 years old, and this was way back in 2006, and I followed on my older sister's steps. We both did athletics on the same field where the Benfica rugby team used to play and have their trainings. And one day my sister decided that she wanted to try and play rugby. And it was a bit of a shock to me and especially my parents, because we had no idea what rugby was. But she wanted to try, and less than a year later, I joined her, and I haven't looked back. I just completely fell in love with the game itself and with the team spirit, with the teamwork, commitment, and all the adrenaline that's related to the game and to the sports. And it's just I haven't looked back, honestly. And these things that the rugby brings, it just you can take it out of the game itself. You can bring it to other aspects of your life, such as family and work. And well, this was nearly 20 years ago, and I'm still very connected to the game. And I don't think that will ever change, honestly.
It was a very wise decision, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best decision my sister ever took so far.
And picking up the family line, one of the remarkable parts of your story is that you returned to playing rugby after becoming a mother. That's not small feat. And can you take us through that decision? What motivated you to get back on the field after the pregnancy and becoming a mother?
Well, to be honest, after having my daughter, this was around the same time that COVID started. I really thought I wasn't coming back. I thought that I wasn't playing with the pandemic and the lockdowns, and then with work. I really thought that I couldn't find the time. I'll be able to manage all and come back to playing. And well, back then it was not an easy decision. I thought I was really young, I could still play, but I really thought I wasn't going to be able to manage. So it was when I started looking for other options to try and stay connected to the game. And it was when I reached António to see if there was any possibility to collaborate with the Portuguese Rugby medical department, and this way try to combine my job and with rugby and with sports, and this way try to feel like I'm still connected, like I'm still involved with rugby. And which this happened. I started participating in some games as matchday doctor, but then the problem was, and I really should have seen this was coming. I realized that I wasn't ready to hang up my boots.
Yeah.
I started like watching the games and watching the girls prepare for the games and play, and I realized how much I missed it, and I should really try to come back. And so I did it, not with a lot of commitment, because I knew I couldn't have the same type of commitment that I used to have or the fitness levels that before, but I could still try and go back to the team and have a run, even if it was for just 15 minutes at the end of each game. I'll be happy.
But tell us, was it different to be playing, being a mother compared to how it was before, or you felt just the same?
It felt very differently. Well, first, physically, I was playing with less than kgs than I used to, which in the contact sport, that's a lot. And especially the first impact was when I come back to the Benfica team. I realized I was not one of the young kids anymore. I was now one of the old ones. I was a mother. It
Yeah.
was a bit of a shock, and so I felt a bit more mature
But
about that, and I realized that I had a new role in the team now.
yeah,
I,
exactly. Exactly. That's where I want you to go. So, as you said, you were on the locker room, and you were a mother now, and you had probably kids 16, 17, 18 years old. What did your motherhood feeling told her told you to explain to these girls, to encourage them and to guide them, especially when they think about starting a family and they fear that they can interrupt their careers. How do you think that you could help them to show that it's still possible to manage those two aspects of life?
well, as I said, I felt more mature, and I realized that my part now was to just support the team and be not Matt as the player that runs a lot, but more the player that brings experience, brings some like peace to the team and some comfort. And I'm very lucky because I have a lot of especially Sofia Nob, who has 3 kids and still plays. So I have that role model in my team, and she shows everyone that it's possible to work, raise a family, have kids, and still play the game and still show up to every practice. So that part for me was already covered and was easy because we already have Sophie in our team, and that helped me as well to realize that I can still come back. And I don't know, I just
It felt
felt
natural. It was natural
yeah,
for you. It
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Just one more, trying to combine everything and just help the kids.
Yeah,
That
help
I'm
the
not the
kids.
kid anymore. No,
Yeah,
I'm
you're the
on the
big
other group.
grown up now. Yeah, you're the grown up
Yeah,
now.
I'm the old one.
Yeah.
Catarina, let's move to not so good part of your career. But it's what it is, and you have a long rugby career. But injuries in rugby are a part of the game. You suffered a significant one recently, near to the end of your playing career. And wow, how did it happen? And what was going through your mind in that moment?
Well, yes, unfortunately, last season, pretty much a year ago, during the national championship final, I got tackled and I broke my ankle pretty badly. And so I only played for like 25 minutes of that game. And this last season was supposed to be my final season. I decided that I wanted to hang up my boots, but I wanted to hang up them high. So I dedicated myself a lot to come back to my fitness levels and to be part of the team. And I was seeing that that was finally happening. And then within seconds, that all changed. I broke my ankle, and everything was done. So the first thing that I thought was that was not fair. It was not fair because I was really enjoying playing and I was starting to feel like really fit. I put a lot of effort, and then within seconds that was finished and that was over, and I was never going to play again. And second was that I had a pretty important medical exam 2 days later, and then I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be able to attend the medical
Yeah.
exam, and of course that happened. I was in the hospital recovering from my surgery. And then third, but not the least, I thought about the family, because and all the burden that my injury would bring to my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before I ask you something, just give a huge shout out to Alexandre and Jan, who managed so well on the field
Yeah.
with your injury. It's a very good example that when you are surrounded by good professionals, things can be managed very quickly, easily, and the outcome is, as we know, very good. And just
Yes.
to give them a huge thank for all their work in sport and especially in your case. But as you said, you had a medical exam, a very important medical exam, a couple of days later, and you were also a mother. You were also the doctor for the national women's team. So how did you stay positive during the recovery process, managing all these hats that you have to put and take subsequently in your life?
Well, it wasn't easy, gonna be honest. I had my days, I had my moments when I felt a little bit frustrated with what had happened and the impact that was having on my life and all the plans that I had. But mostly, I think I stayed very positive, and partially because everything happened very quickly. During the field, like you said, everything was amazing. Alexandre and Jan were perfect. I didn't have to worry about anything. I just have to focus with other problems. And then I had surgery right the day after. 3 weeks later after my injury, I was already starting my physiotherapy. So seeing this progress happening so quickly really helped me stay positive. And 7 weeks later, I was back to work, and I started to feel like my life was coming back to normal. It helped me a lot to stay positive, seeing that it wasn't impacting as much as I had thought. I wasn't jeopardizing as much my career and my family and the rest of my life. And yeah, I think this is what made me stay positive.
Yeah, that's good.
And still thinking about the recovery, do you think, with your experience as a medical doctor, does it influence somehow the way you have done the recovery and you thought about it?
Well, yeah, it certainly did, because I understood immediately the seriousness of my injury and how long and the risks and how long it would take to fully recover. And so it helped me stay positive to see and take all the small wins, and yeah, and try not to focus on rushing my recovery and focus on the small details and on the small wins. So definitely my experience helped me in that aspect.
Okay, so let me just go a little bit back on your life. We all understand that you are a rugby player, a mother, and also a doctor. But take us back to the time when you were a student. We do know that a lot of young athletes either stop playing or they drop their studies to dedicate more to the sport. But you are a very good example that both things can be done at very high levels. So you were able to pursue your medical career, and you have already finished your specialty training, and still you have gained a lot of caps, both in sevens and in 15s. And well, you have been a very successful player. So tell me, how did you manage to balance your studies, um, and then continue your career in rugby to become such a good example of success on both fields? How did you do it?
Well, it wasn't always easy, of course, but it all came down to setting up realistic goals and lots of planning and time management. Because all my life I always had lots of extracurricular activities, especially related to sports. I started doing athletics when I was 8, 9, and I did multiple sports back then and other activities. So from a young age, I've learned to prioritize and get my time organized. So they helped me a lot. Then when I started playing rugby, then I had to get good grades to get to medical school. So it helped me get my discipline to try and focus on both, to say no to a few things. Of course, there were a few things that missed, some dinners, some friends' parties that I couldn't attend because I either had a game or training or study. So like make sure that you know that it's okay. Sometimes you can't do it all. That's why it's so important to set up your goals. And I've been doing that ever since. Just time management, and sometimes having the constant feeling that you're failing with everything. It happens as well, feeling that you should or you could be doing more and do better. But yeah.
Yeah,
At the
and
end,
now you are working in the Portuguese National Health Service, SNS,
yeah.
SNS, while also serving as the team doctor for women's national team. That's a lot on your plate. So how do you juggle all these rules?
Well, it has been a challenge, obviously, but but I have been enjoying a lot, and it's a privilege. As you both know, working in the national health system, it's a challenge in itself. So,
I
but it's
subscribe
been
to
very, but it has been very rewarding, and I've been enjoying it very much. I have a very good team that I work with, which helps a lot, and it's always good to have that feeling that I can contribute to the health and well-being of at least some of my patients. That helps me to keep motivated. At the same time, being the team doctor for the women's 15 national team, it's the perfect match because I can combine my passion for rugby with my job, with my medical degree, which is amazing. And for me personally, being the women's national team, it's very special because I used to be part of that team before as a player, and most of the players that are part of most of the girls that are part of the team, I either play with or against. So for me, yeah, it's very
you.
special.
Amazing. And talking about your role as a first ever doctor of the Portuguese women's national team, and this is a huge milestone. Nothing has been done ever before. How did you get involved with the team?
Well, it all started just happened like by chance. Like I said before, a couple of years ago, I reached António to see if there was an opening for a doctor. And this time I was a new doctor. I was in my first year of my specialty. I had no idea what I used to be a player, but I had no idea what being in the medical department of the rugby union involved. And then so I reached Antonio, and he invited me, and it made me feel very involved. And then from there, I started accompanying some doctors. They were already working with the team. I finished my postgrad in sports medicine, did some World Rugby courses. And then, yeah, last year I got invited to travel with the women's team to their first tour, the first tour in Brazil. And after that, I accompanied them in the women's rugby European Championship, and yeah, the rest is just happening.
Yeah,
And
no.
as
Yeah, what a great decision it was from your side and from mine. Just fantastic to have you on board. So yeah, just keep up that fantastic work. I'd like to ask you one thing, one very specific thing. We know that women's rugby in Portugal is still growing. Is not mature. Is not in a mature state yet. But we are growing at a very fast pace from the sevens tournaments we have now moved to the 15 format. We've competed in two trophies. We won the second one. We are now in the Rugby Europe Championship. We won the match last year. but still there is a lot of things to grow and to do. From your perspective as a doctor and looking at player welfare, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced in the process and that you think that we need to tackle?
Well, there has been a few. Firstly, like I said before, it's a completely new role for me. I'm still navigating and exploring the responsibilities that are involved in being the team doctor, and still trying to understand what my medical degree can bring to the team and to the players' welfare. What are the skills I can still improve and need to work on, and also at the same time learning the resources that I have available, or the other resources that I have or could work on. So there has been a lot of challenges around that. And thirdly is because most of the players know me as a player, I'm still trying to build their trust to see me as their team doctor, and make them feel comfortable to discuss their health and well-being with me. Because as a former player, like I know I have I'm lucky because I know what I would have liked to have when I was a player, the supports or other supports I would like to have had as a player. So I'm trying to work on that and help them not have the same feeling that I had before, like that I could have had more help as a player. And so I'm trying to do a little bit of that. And this is just to name a few challenges.
And how do you see the future of the women's CIF team? What needs to happen for women's rugby in Portugal to continue growing?
That's a very good question. I think that's the $1 million question that we've been trying to answer since before I started playing rugby. And it's very hard with the lack of sports that exists in Portugal, especially women's sports. It's very hard to grow rugby that not a few Portuguese know about. So it's even harder for girls to grow the sports. And maybe there was one of the challenges that I also faced, that it's the lack of understanding sometimes from teachers when it comes to balancing both sports and our studies or our job. I think there needs to be some flexibility, more flexibility around that. I think that would help a lot, because we end up losing lots of players because they just can't do both, which is very unfortunate. But besides all of that, I actually see a bright future in our women's rugby. We have witnessed the creation of another league for smaller teams and new players that are starting to play, to get involved with rugby. And I think that's amazing, because it's very important to keep the game growing from a young age. We have seen players from 14 years old, 15 years old, now getting to the senior level, and it's amazing. We're not losing those players because now they have a league of their own. They have there's an under 18 national team. So I think that it's helping the game grow a lot, because we have seen some of those players coming to the main team, to the national 15s team. So it's also very important. And especially we have a lot of new talent coming from every team in Portugal, and it's amazing. So I see a bright future for a women's 15, and we keep having these inspirational players just coming and showing their sides. And just to name a few, we have Joana Borlid in Coimbra, and we have Sofia in Benfica. They just live and breathe rugby, and I think they have been helping so much the game to keep growing, because they're such role models, and they keep pushing for these young players to not give up, keep coming and calling them. I know they call the players to come to training, to come to games, and so the game is growing also because we have these amazing players that just love the sports and just want to watch them grow. So I see a very bright future.
Yeah, that's clearly the case. The women's rugby is growing, and as you said, the older players have an important role on this, and that's why I would like to ask you some words to some of our listeners that might be in the position where you were maybe 20 years ago, and are that might be doubting if they can manage a career both in rugby and in their studies. So what would you just tell them? What did you just tell them to encourage them to pursue a dual career in rugby and in studies?
Well, if there's a message that I would like to give these young girls, if they're either dreaming on being a rugby players or doctors or both, is just to just, if that's what they really want, to just do it, to believe in themselves and just don't give up. Of course, there will be some challenges. There will be a lot of obstacles that they will have to go through, but it's all worth it. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also so many amazing experiences you can take from both rugby and medicine that makes all the difficult times worth it. And so just knowing that pursuing rugby and medicine at the same time has taught me that with patience and with lots of resilience and hard work, you can just do it all. But and it's the ultimate message I want to bring is just, it's really worth it. Just don't give up, and good times will come. When they don't believe it, they will.
And what about your own goals? What do you think, and what's next for you, both in rugby and in medicine as well?
Well, in rugby, without a doubt, is to continue to support the women's national team as their team doctor, and like I said before, improve my skills, improve my knowledge, while getting more and more involved with the team, with the sports, and with its staff. And this time, make sure to stay connected outside of the field. Not, I've learned that it's safer, it's completely fine, and yeah, just stay connected to the game outside of the field. And but in medicine, so far is just, I want to finish my specialization. I'm still not finished. I just started my final year this January. This is my final year, and after that, we'll see. We never know with the national system.
Yeah, it will be fine. Catarina, it has been such a pleasure having you on RugbyMed. Your story, as we started to say, is truly inspiring, and we really can't wait to see what you are going to do next, both on and off the field.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me for this amazing podcast that it's been launched all the way from Portugal. So yeah, I'm very, very honored to be here. Thank you so much again for
It was
this
a pleasure.
amazing.
A pleasure, a pleasure.
And that's it for today on Rugby Med. Thank you everyone who tuned in. A huge thank to our dear friend Catarina Antunes for joining us.
And remember, people, rugby is more than just a game. It's about people, it's about stories, and the resilience to keep going no matter what life throws at you, like Catarina very clearly explained to us.
Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and join us next time for more incredible stories from the world of rugby. Until then, take care and keep playing.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.